YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We are live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. How's everyone doing today? How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode number 1242. That's right, episode number 1242 of Navigating the Modern World with Eli, the Walking with Purpose live edition. Live today from Red Morton Park. My lovely lady Dawn is here first. Welcome, Dawn. Welcome, my love. My biggest cheerleader, my biggest fan, right? Well, she's our biggest fan because she's a part of this. She's a big part of the GNA, which is short for Genuine Networking Association. Today's topic is the most boring live stream in YouTube history. On purpose, with no purpose. Today's topic is the most boring live stream in YouTube history. On purpose, with no purpose. None. There's absolutely no purpose to this live stream. I just felt like taking a walk at the park and seeing if anyone wanted to come along for the ride, right? Or for the walk, or however you want to say it, right? And, you know, I know it's going to be boring because today I'm going to talk about how this all started for me on YouTube. What gave me the inspiration and idea to do this. A lot of this has to do with my purpose of helping people. I've always loved to help people. I used to always help my friends in our younger days. I would fix their computers with spare parts I had free of charge. And they would take me to lunch usually, but I didn't even expect that. You know, I just loved to help them or help anyone whenever I could. And I never thought about charging people for it. I never looked at it as a way to try to make some extra money with my friends or other people I may have helped out of the kindness of my heart. I always looked at it as, hey, you know what? If I can help someone and I have some spare parts laying around that I wasn't going to use, and if I can give them a little bit of my time and make their day, put a smile on their face, then why not, right? Hey, GLM, how are you doing? GLM is probably still live, and she just does everything at once. I don't know how she does it. But anyway, so I want to go back to 2016, the end of 2016. Now, we're in 2026. This is the beginning of 2026. I'm going back to the end of 2016. So we're looking at not quite 10 years, but a little over 9 years ago. I was in a relationship with someone, and I'm not going to get into details I have in the past. I'm not going to do that here today. Point of the matter is, when that relationship ended, and it was her that ended it, and the way it ended wasn't a good way. I'm not here to blame her or anyone else for the past. I'm here to share what lit the fire under my my rear end to really want to start a real YouTube channel for the first time even though I'd been on the platform as a spectator. And I used to post some other videos for the GNA when we used to run in-person networking events. But I was really hurt after that relationship. I was just really hurt, and I was 40 years old, and I was about to turn 41. Is that right? I think so. No. I was, sorry, this was what, 9 years ago? I was 42, about to turn 43. Sorry, I was 42, about to turn 43. That's what it was. I was 42, about to turn 43. And it was hard to get over this relationship because I had put so much into it, like I typically do in every relationship. And at the beginning of 2017, I went onto YouTube. I wasn't watching YouTube as religiously as I do now, since I've been on the platform pretty much semi-full-time or full-time for the last 8+ years. But at that point, I had not watched YouTube as much. I would watch it occasionally, or if I needed to go and find something, that's when I would go to YouTube. So I went to YouTube and I was looking for dating advice or self-help and personal development, because I've always, not always, but at that point I had started to love personal development about 10 years before this time. And throughout my organization, when we ran in-person networking events, we taught personal development and we preached personal development and self-help, self-love, right? Give to give, not give to get. The law of reciprocity will come back to you. When you sow a seed, you reap a harvest, right? Hey, Lewis, how you doing? Welcome to the show. And so I went onto YouTube and I found someone by the name of Coach Corey Wayne. And many people know of him today. He's been doing this on YouTube for probably at least 15 to 17, 18 years now. And I started to watch a lot of his videos. And I thought, before I started watching his videos, I knew how to best approach women to get a date, to find the right person, right? I thought I had a good amount of self-confidence at that point. And after I started to binge watch Coach Corey Wayne's videos, literally I would watch like 10 a day. And they would range from 15 minutes to 30 minutes. Some would be 45 minutes or an hour. I would sit there and work from my home office and just listen to Coach Corey Wayne in the background. Sometimes I would turn and look at the TV, and whenever he would say something like quirky, you would see the expression on his face, and it was priceless. It made me laugh, and it drove the point home, right? I learned a lot from binge watching Coach Corey Wayne, and it really helped me build my confidence. And then more than I already had. I'm not saying I didn't have any self-confidence before that time at age 42. Actually, I was 43 at that point. I had turned 43 in December of 2016. But so at that point, I heard Coach Corey Wayne say something He was encouraging people, hey, if you like what I do and you want to start your own coaching channel, go right ahead. And he meant it in a positive way. He had some people that were trying to, they would send him emails that were questioning his coaching style and this and that. And the way he would respond to them was in a positive way. He was very honest, but he would respond in a positive way. And he would tell him, hey, you can start your own YouTube channel and become a coach. And I took that literally because I really liked and still like what Coach Corey Wayne does. And it was right in alignment with how I've always loved to help people. I also helped a lot of people when I was running in-person networking events at the GNA, doing a lot of public speaking. And so this was right in alignment with my personality and the giving type of person that I've always been. And that's what started it all. That's what started it all. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't give this up for the world. I love helping people. I love coming out here and taking a walk almost every day. I mean, I try to do it every day, but like I've said in the past, I walk about maybe 350 or 340 to 350 out of the 365 days of the year. I enjoy doing that. I love walking just to walk, and I would still walk if I wasn't broadcasting live. But many years ago, after I started doing the YouTube thing in 2017, got some people coming. In 2017, when I started doing this, I was doing pre-recorded videos at first. Then I started doing live streaming 6 months after that, towards the end of 2017. And then I also said, let's start doing some mobile live streams. Let's start doing something that no one else is doing. Let's do walking with used to call them the daily walk edition, right? Used to call it, it's always been navigating the modern world with Eli, right? But it used to be called the daily walk edition. And then about after a year or close to a year after I was doing my walks with that name, I'm like, I need something better than that. I need something that really drives the point home. And then I started thinking, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because this is my purpose in life, to help people. So why not just call the show Walking with Purpose, right? And that was a huge rebrand that I've stuck with, and I'll never get rid of that, because every day that I do walk here at the park, I am walking with purpose. And I'm walking on purpose. Right? Now, again, this is probably one of the most boring streams you've ever come across. And, this is boring on purpose, right? With no purpose. Because I'm just sharing my experiences of what I've been through, right? And, I used to think that, hey, everyone's story is interesting. At least in my opinion, everyone's story is interesting. But I've learned nowadays that, when people are just talking about their stories and stuff, and, they have other options that are more, I guess, exciting or elevate their emotions more than this. A lot of people will just not tune into this. So I'm like, okay, let me just go live today and own the fact that I'm a boring person. My content is boring. I never said I was an entertainer when I first came out here. I still say it to this day. I've never been here to entertain people. Now, have I been entertaining at times? Maybe. But that's not why I do what I do. I'm not here to be a comedian. I'm here to help people better their lives, figure out what their purpose is. And if they're lacking self-love and self-respect, help them by motivating them and inspiring them that they're worth it, to the point of where they start to have self-respect and self-love, which then will start to turn their lives around, right? But I get it. I get it. Even for people that care about personal development content can be bored from that type of content, right? Maybe in some cases I bore myself. I probably bored myself so much, I don't even know what to do with myself anymore. But hey, it's okay. I own it, right? It is what it is. I just love doing this, no matter how boring it is or how boring I am. I just love doing this. And I would do this even if no one was watching. I would do this even if no one was watching. Because this is who I am. This is who I am, who I was meant to be, and who I always will be. I remember when I first started doing the Walking with Purpose streams live, I didn't have this windscreen. I just had this a Logitech. Now I've gone through many of these. These Logitech headsets they're like $13 a piece. These are like the nicest sounding mics when you're walking. Like, this is not a bad headset for $13. And I've gone through probably 4 or 5 of these over the years. They last about a year to a year and a half because I use them literally on about, maybe like 300 to 400 walks a piece, right? And then I also use it around the house when I'm on a phone call on the phone, right? I remember when I first started doing these streams, I didn't have anything to protect the sound from wind. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna figure something out. It may look kind of goofy, which it does. And I've been questioned for this big furry ball, or regarding this big furry ball on my face, but it cuts out most of the wind and it allows better sound. And I realized, hey, people can see me, but what's more important? They can hear me, right? Crystal clear, right? Because one thing I've always been proud of regarding my content is not just good video quality. Now, when you're on mobile, that depends on the reception. The same thing for audio, but when there's good reception, you'll get good video and audio quality. But the one thing everyone's always said, and I agree with, what's more important, video or audio? Audio is more important because if people can't hear you, they're going to tune away, right? So I'm like, I've got to get my audio game down, both on mobile and in the studio. And over the years, I upgraded my equipment to the high quality studio we have nowadays with the Shure microphones, the Shure SM7B, which is what I use. And when Dawn does the podcasts or any live streams with me or other content from the studio, she has a Shure SM58. Very nice sounding mics, by the way. Episode number 44 of the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast was released today. And Tia, I saw your comment. Thank you very much. I have not had a chance to get back to you or any other comments yet. It was a busy office day for me today. I had a lot of things to work on. I'm gonna wait for some people to pass on by. You're under winter storm watch. Oh, be safe, man. Please be safe, Lewis. Okay. Take it easy. But when I started to, we were under a extreme cold advisory. Oh, wonderful. So, like I was saying, over the years, I, started to reinvest back into my equipment because for me, quality is important. Not only audio, but video, both, right? And it also matters what you say and how you show up and who you are and what you're creating, right? But for me, I've always tried to give it my best. Give it not 100%, not 1,000%, not 100,000%, 1,000,000%. I've always given it 1,000,000%. And I still do to this day. Because I really love doing this. I really love creating and bringing people along with me on my journey of life. That's been quite interesting to say the least. Online and offline, right? And I've never had any shame of sharing any parts of my stories. I mean, there are some things that I didn't mention right away. But, hang on, give me a second here. Yeah, give me a second. Give me a second here. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, basically over the years. Oh boy. They should not allow those motorized bikes in the park. I really wish they would just take off. That's just really obnoxiously loud. Oh my. It's like a mini Harley Davidson for kids. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway. Sorry about that, folks. That's very distracting. Hey Tina, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. Yeah, so I mean, I've loved doing this. I've loved doing this for a while, and I wanted to come out here and share what drove me to start this in the first place. What inspired me? What motivated me to do it? It was a bunch of things. And yes, it is, like I've been saying, it's a boring story, but it means something to me, right? And here's the thing. Here's the thing. The people that truly want to better their lives will be able to relate to my boring stories, right? The people that are able to relate and are truly looking to better themselves, like I said again, will appreciate the boring stories. Many people nowadays, I've said it before and I'll say it again, many people, they live for the outrage, right? And I've never lived for the outrage. Like, the outrage to me is just a bunch of noise, right? It's a bunch of noise, right? And when you have a platform like YouTube, for example, with almost 3 billion active monthly users, you've got a lot of people making a lot of noise. And the majority of the noise is just pure static, right? It's pure static. You remember back in the days before HD TVs, we had rabbit ears. We also had, rooftop antennas, and we had cable and all that. But do you remember what would happen if you would unplug your cable from your TV or your antenna from your TV? You would hear, you would see static on the TV, and you would hear the static sound. The park has been extremely busy lately. Like, in the 8 years that I've been coming here, I've never seen so many people at once, especially this late at night. Maybe it's just the time. Maybe it's just like 5 or 6 o'clock. Everyone gets off work and they'll come to the park and exercise and all that. But anyway. So, hang on. We've got more people coming. We got people riding their bicycles on the sidewalk. The sidewalk is for pedestrians. Anyway. I'm very observant, even when I'm live with a selfie stick in front of me, in front of my face. So I can just get out of the way, no big deal, But this defines who I am. This is me, right? And if I'm considered boring according to today's internet standards, where the majority of people want constant outrage and want to be elevated emotionally, right? I mean, that's just simply not for me. That's not for me, I've never been about that. Like all of us, like any normal human being, we all have moments and we all overreact at times. That doesn't mean that we're full of outrage, that doesn't mean that we're always acting that way or anything like that. It just happens to everyone, right? And like I've been telling everyone, well, I was starting to tell people last year when I was doing the positivity challenge that ended in December, that, in 2026, I really want to make this the most positive place for people to come to. No matter how boring it is, right? And if you think I'm boring, then fine, I own it. I'm boring as fuck. Great. And if you're not as boring as I am, then hey, I'm sorry. Being boring takes experience and and time and years to become as boring as I've become, right? My point is this. That's who I am. If I'm boring, that's who I am. And if people like boring and they want to support boring, that's on them, right? If people want outrage and they want their emotions elevated all day, every day, right? And they want to be a part of every single conflict that happens on the internet or even in the real world, that's not the life that I want to live. And I've never lived that life, because in the real world, whenever someone's tried to bring drama into my life, I've always walked away from it. When you're on YouTube, if you're creating, you're on a shared platform. You really only have two choices. You deal with it, or you tackle it head on. Well, there may be three choices. You deal with it and ignore it. You deal with it and tackle it head on, which can create a back and forth, even if you're just trying to do it the nice way and, correct things that are said in wrongful ways, right? Or you can just walk away, like in the real world, right? But here's the thing. When you love this platform because it's given you a stage unlike anything you could ever imagine, it's hard to leave, because this is like the new Hollywood. YouTube's like the new Hollywood, and it's not about fame or glory for me. It's about trying to reach as many people as I can, to help as many people as I can, or we can, here at the GNA. I could easily walk away from this tomorrow. Am I going to? No. Am I ever going to? No. I could, but I'm not. But you have some options, right? When you're dealing with outrage and stuff like that, right? Over the years, I've learned how to better handle things. At least the things that are within my control, because you can only handle things that are within your control, right? And when things are out of your control, okay, you have options, but those options take a lot of work. Or you can just, again, walk away. And all right, now it asks me to reconnect. Okay, we should be back live. Put a 1 in the chat me clearly. Can you put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly? Put a 1 in the chat. I'll be right back. All right, we are back live. We are back live. Oh, the ones are coming up now. Okay, can you put one more 1 in the chat? Can you put one more 1 in the chat? Let me know if you can hear me and see me, please. TS says 1. And Don says 1. Thank you. So, like I was saying, the only other option you have is to walk away, and walking away is not an option for me. And even though we learn from our mistakes, and we're all going to make mistakes, failure to me is not an option. Making mistakes, in my opinion, is not failure. Making mistakes are lessons learned. Right? Making mistakes are not failures. They're lessons learned. The only way, in my opinion, anyone can be a failure is if you give up on yourself, is if you give up on your goals, your dreams, and your aspirations. Right? Now, along the journey of whatever you're trying to accomplish, you're going to have setbacks, and nothing's going to go perfect, and some things take longer to become successful at than others, just like what I've been doing out here. And along the way, you're going to have a lot of people, especially on the internet, they're going to call you a failure, right? Whether they admit it, whether they actually mean it, or they're saying it just for content, or a combination of both, or whatever. You're going to have a lot of people call you a failure. All that is one big projection, right? You don't have to listen to it. You don't even have to respond to it. You can ignore it and let it go. No. Look, I've been doing this for a while out here on YouTube. And look, I can't sit here and tell you that you should never respond, because I've learned there's a time to respond, and then there's a time to ignore, right? There's a time to respond and a time to ignore. And once you get enough experience to figure out how the online world works, if you're going to create content on a platform like YouTube, you'll be able to figure out that balance like I have. Because you get to the point of where, after a while, you don't even feel the need to respond to pretty much almost everything, right? Because it's just a bunch of noise, like I said earlier. It's like a bunch of static, like the old analog TV. Right? It's like static. And that static used to hurt my ears, you know? I've had enough static in my life. I don't need any more, right? Neither do you. Neither do you. Many people over the years have reached out to me by email or have asked me in live chats, right? How come you never, ever give up? You know, you've been putting in a lot of effort for minimal results. I love what I do. I've never not once said that I don't love what I do. I do love what I do. I love doing this even for no money. There's your answer. That's called having a real purpose. That's called truly believing in yourself and believing in what you were put on this planet to do. Right? The thing I'm trying to help people understand out here, or help figure out, is what you were put on this planet to do, which is also known as, it's known as your purpose. Your purpose is basically, what were you put on this planet to do? And you know why most people hate their jobs? And they quit their jobs and they complain at their jobs. You know why they complain? They complain and they quit their jobs because it's not their purpose. They're doing it just for the money. That's why you have to incorporate your purpose into what you do for a living to be happy. I help people understand that. This is what makes me happy, right? And this is why I haven't given up on what I do out here, because it's what makes me happy. And no matter what you're trying to accomplish in this world, online or offline, combination of both, however, right? Whatever you're trying to accomplish, if it's something that truly defines who you are and your purpose, and it's something that makes you happy, never give up. Never give up on whatever you're trying to create regarding anything that makes you happy, because the moment you do that, the moment you give up on something that truly makes you happy and defines your purpose, that's the moment that you're giving up on yourself. In my younger days, like my preteens and then my teens especially, I used to give up on myself. I used to have self-pity. I didn't have the self-love I have today, right? I used to always beat myself up. I used to always play the role of the victim. I used to whine and complain. How do you think I understand the behavior of a lot of these people you see on the internet nowadays, including out here on YouTube? I used to behave that way. You can't identify anything you've never experienced. The thing is, you can never identify anything that you haven't experienced. Experience is what it's all about. Experience is where it's at. I've had a lot of that. I made a lot of mistakes. I've never said I was perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to be perfect. Not late, Jeno. How are you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Great to see you here. But I wanted to do something for people, to give people a chance to learn from my mistakes that I made at a younger age, and didn't figure out on how to correct those mistakes until my late 20s, early 30s. I lost a lot of time. Where if I had learned my lesson 10, 15 years prior, in my teenage years, you know, hey, who knows how much further ahead things would have been for me now. Now I'm happy with my life with Dawn and all that, but who knows? Who knows what direction I would have gone, right? But I'm good with what's happening today, because I've learned to accept myself and love myself for who I am. I've learned to not have self-pity. I've learned to not play the role of the victim. I've learned to not whine and complain. Now, we're all humans. Sometimes we're going to overreact. Even the best of us overreact, right? Every now and then it happens to everyone, right? But I've learned to minimize that, and that's what I want to help people do. Learn to better handle life. Learn to better handle the daily craziness of life, the constant ongoing changes of life, right? Hey, Jaded Driver, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Great to see you here. I've learned to better balance things out. I struggled with balancing things out even as recently as last year and the year before. I used to be really bad before that. But over the last couple of years, I've learned how to better balance things going on in my life. And I realized that what's happening on social media and YouTube and all that, it's very time consuming and it can suck you in. It's very easy to get sucked in, right? And that's something new in this modern world that we didn't have over 20 years ago. And the way YouTube is now, when YouTube first came out, it wasn't this sophisticated. And live streaming didn't start happening on YouTube until about 10, 11 years ago or so, maybe 12, right? So we're literally looking at this new way of living with YouTube and other platforms having live streams. People can live stream like I'm doing right now from my mobile phone, from my iPhone. People are live streaming while they're driving. I call it driving with purpose. I've created the entire purpose series. Walking with purpose, driving with purpose, right? And then we also have On the Couch with Don and Eli. But I've learned to balance things out. And even more so, I'll tell you this. Today, I'm going to tell you. Today, I got hit with a level of clarity unlike anything before. You know, when I work during the day, I'm in the office by myself. I'm really focused. Sometimes I'll sit there at my chair, at my desk. Go ahead. I'll sit there at my chair, at my desk. I'll meditate and I'll just sit there and I'll brainstorm, right? And I'm talking outside of ChatGPT. Yeah, I may run things through ChatGPT afterwards, but understand that ChatGPT is only as good as how well you brainstorm what to feed it, right? ChatGPT is only as good as how well you can brainstorm your thoughts on what you want more information on or what you want more clarity on. What ChatGPT does is gives you more clarity, right? Today I had a level of clarity unlike ever before in my entire life. And that's why, I titled this stream, the most boring live stream ever on YouTube. On purpose, without purpose. On purpose with no purpose, right? Yeah, it will be nice. Sim doing things little by little. Oh, I like picking new stuff. Yay, upgrade. I reorganized the entire place only to realize I need to paint and repair a ton of stuff. It never ends. Yeah, you're right. Hey, what's going on, Jaded Driver? Great to see you here. ODN, how you doing? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly and see me clearly. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly and see me clearly. Somebody was passing by, cranking up some music, and they saw me with the selfie stick and the iPhone, being live, and yay! All right, cool. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, when I was young, I used to do stuff like that, so I understand it. I've just become incredibly boring. I even tell my lady Dawn that. I've become incredibly boring. I'm content. I'm happy. I'm happy with life. I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm happy with my lady. I'm happy with my family. And again, I'm happy within myself. And I share this with you folks, no matter how boring it is, because I know you folks have had these moments. I know many of you have struggled with moments like these, right? Now, am I saying that there's anything wrong being boring? No. Because here's the thing. In today's day and age on the internet, you're classified in 2 ways. And I've learned this over the last year, and so has my lady Dawn, watching Chris Cuomo on News Nation, right? In today's day and age, you're either one of 2 things. You're either boring as fuck, or you're very outrageous. There's like nothing in the middle, right? There's really nothing in the middle, because what drives the internet and what drives money and donations and ads is outrage, right? It's almost like the system is rigged against happiness, right? It's almost like the algorithms favor outrage because it sucks people in longer, they watch more ads, and the platforms make more money, right? I refuse to live in that cycle just to make money. I'd rather be flat broke than make money off of outrage, and especially fake outrage. At times, when there's something really going on and it creates a lot of emotion, I can understand that. That's real. When something is real, I can understand a little bit of outrage and emotion and stuff, but the amount of fake outrage that I've seen on social media, primarily on YouTube, but other platforms too, like, it does nothing for me. Right? It won't. Honestly, it won't even suck me in anymore. Like, I can just see certain people go live, and I'm not saying this about I'm not saying this about any of our people. But I can see certain shows going live, and I know that they're, outrage drama shows, and I'm like, no, thank you. Even if it's people that I do like, sometimes I'm like, love you, but you know what? No, thanks. I mean, I don't want to fuel the outrage cycle any more than many, if not most, other people already do. I want to be a product of change. I want to make the difference. That's why I do whatever I can to keep things positive, even when times are tough. And hey, times have not been that easy for myself and the GNA and other people involved here lately, but you know what? We keep going. And we're going to keep going. And eventually, when our time comes, then that will just speak for itself. If people aren't having fun and laughing, I do not watch. Yeah, no, I understand. Not lay gentle. I totally understand. Tonight, I decided to just be boring on purpose with no purpose. So, I mean, if I'm boring you or anyone else, I'm sorry about that. I'm just being proactive by saying it, Uh-huh. ODN says I do boring streams all the time. Actually, I'm quite enlightened by your streams, ODN, to be honest with you. You should give yourself more credit. I'm not trying to degrade myself by saying that I'm a boring person. I'm just coming out and saying it because, yeah, I just refuse to fuel the outrage cycle. I refuse to do that. Could I easily do it? Sure. I could probably do it better than anyone. Trust me on that. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not who I am. It's not how I want people remembering me when my time comes. Hey, Sandra, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. Did you just pop on in, Sandra, or were you listening in the background? How's your day going? Hey, Jenny, how are you doing? Welcome. Hi, Sandra. Hello, Jenny. I've been here. Well, thank you, Sandra. I appreciate that. Before I go, I want to start wrapping things up with this. Life's not fair. And sometimes certain things happen in life where you pay the price for someone else's mistake. Just like, some people, I'll get to your quote in a second, babe. Just like some people get wrongfully convicted or wrongly convicted of a crime or murder, right? That's why they have the Innocence Project, right? I've paid the price many times in my life. Oh, the dog's over there. Oh, they're going a little crazy. It's dog training. I've paid the price many times in my life for other people's mistakes, right? I'll tell you what really sucks the most is when you really want to be friends with certain people, but because there's another issue that has nothing to do with you, right? And it's affecting the person that you want to be friends with. Let me just give you an example, right? When you're dealing with nonsense, let's say like on YouTube, like on a social media platform, when you're dealing with nonsense, right? People are coming at you, right? A lot of times what people will do on YouTube is they'll do the same thing that people do in the real world. When they can't get to you anymore, they get to everyone that you love and care for, right? So, if, for example, you know, you're trying to collaborate with someone out here on YouTube and they truly like who you are and you like who they are, and you know there's like a and I say this in a brotherly love type of way, there's chemistry in you two working together, like on podcasts and shows and stuff, right? But they don't want to work with you because if they end up working with you, the outrage that's been coming, let's say in my case towards me, will spill over and affect them. And so instead of those people, let's say they would normally work with me under normal circumstances, because of the situation, which is out of my control, they choose to not work with me because they don't want to deal with, you know, what I'm dealing with, for example, purposes, right? And I got to say, you know, it's really sad. It's really sad that some things in life end up being that way, right? And that's okay. You can't win them all, right? All you can do is keep showing up every day. Keep trying every day. Keep trying to get a little better each and every day. Hey, Not Legion, I hope you're having an awesome night. Yeah, you're right, Not Legion. Anyway, folks, 62 minutes, an hour and 2 minutes. I'm going to get going. Thank you. Thank you to everyone that listened to the most boring stream, the most boring live stream ever on YouTube. The most boring live stream in the history of YouTube. On purpose, with no purpose. Yeah. And no, I did not use ChatGPT to make that title. I came up with that on my own. That's just me. I just wanted to keep it real. Thank you, Eli. I really liked your boring stream, really. Nice stream, Eli. Let's get back to boredom. I love boring streams. You go, Eli. Jesus Christ. well, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Love you all. Have a good one. Take care. And as all, oh, my lady's quote. I almost screwed that up. My lady's quote. Where the heck is it? Didn't Don put out a quote a second ago? Where's Don? Babe? Babe, are you there? Let me know if you're going to put a quote out. I thought I saw you put a quote out and I don't see it. It's there? Let me see. Oh, there it is. Tonight, I want us to remember the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Good night, everyone. Tonight, says respectfully, maturely, and professionally, Don. Tonight, I want us to remember the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Good night, everyone. Yeah, practice what you preach, right? Practice what you preach because in life, you only get back what you put out. With that being said, have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other. See you all tomorrow. Good night, everyone.